So we went back to the native local indigenous nursery to get some more native edible plants. Matt Singh is the guy that runs the place, and he gave us loads of helpful information and answered all of our questions for us. Gunimaa Nursery is an all-native nursery specialising in plants of the Tenterfield Plateau, native bush food, medicinal natives and plants of cultural significance to the local Aboriginal community. So this time we've got some native curry, mint oregano, strawberry gum, fig and chamomile. We're just heading up the hill here a bit to plant our fig on the rocky outcrop. We've started to close the gate here to try to keep the sheep and larger wildlife from eating the wattle seedlings that we planted a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, only a few have survived. It's been raining here for a few days, so it's a great time to plant some new seedlings. Australian native figs are Strangler figs, and they're given this name because they kind of tend to strangle other trees. Apparently they like being in rock crevices, and the figs are edible, but they're very small, like the size of marbles, and they're bitter, but the birds love them. The last fig we tried to plant up here was uprooted and half dead, so we're having another try. But this time we're going to try and put some protection around it to see if that helps at all. So hopefully these tree guards that we got will protect the trees, the seedlings, from the wind, pests and frosts. Our off-grid property is located on the southern end of the Granite Belt, the coldest part of Queensland, and the northern end of the New England tablelands in New South Wales. It's actually the last month of summer here, and I'm actually wearing a freezer jacket designed for commercial freezers. This is our little hammock above the creek. The creek has just started filling back up again after the recent rain. So we'll go back and plant the other seeds closer to our shed for easy access. The Australian strawberry gum is a eucalyptus tree. It has an antibiotic and powerful antimicrobial leaf with amazing protective powers for your microflora that lives in your gut, almost like a probiotic taken daily for your health. I can't wait to make a delicious tea infusion with the dried strawberry gum leaves. The leaves have a strawberry and cream aroma, also perfect for curries, mustard, preserves and chutneys, fruit cakes, or anywhere rich fruit flavours are required. Sweet and slightly acidic with fruity undertones that have shades of cinnamon, strawberry and passion fruit. Strawberry gum can also be used to lift the profile of clear spirits such as gin, vodka and white rum. It's also a great natural flavour for soda, tonic water, mineral water and lemonade. You can also use it as a wonderful flavour enhancer for fruit salads and desserts such as creme brulee, pavlova, panna cotta and ice cream, a match made in heaven with chocolate or vanilla. This tree has many health benefits, antifungal properties, and is thought to be a good source of antioxidants that help to neutralise carcinogens. It could also soothe inflammation and slow the ageing process. They also say it's good for the autoimmune and cardiovascular diseases. Matt from Gunimaa Nursery told us that the indigenous Australians who passed through the northern tablelands would often chew on the leaves of the strawberry gum for their sweet berry flavour. The sheep have got into our yard. We'll plant our native curry bush here. It's a low shrubby bush, but when you pick the leaves, the waft of curry powder is everywhere. It's quite amazing. The aroma of the native curry bush is strong, and it's very similar in flavour to traditional curry powder, so it can be ground up and used in cooking just like your regular curry powder. Heating this native plant will kill the remarkable scent, but it can be used as a respiratory remedy, which is why it's also known as cough bush. Matt from the nursery told us that the traditional Aboriginal uses of the native curry bush were medicinal, and that it was used to ease the pain of toothaches and tummy aches and ease respiratory congestion. The essential oils can also be extracted from the leaves and flowers. So you just need to remove the plant from its pot, loosen the mix to free the roots, and place it in the centre of the hole. Backfill it with the soil and make sure it's firmed down at the base, and then water well. A tree guard can be essential to the survival of your trees when they're young, particularly in the first 2 years after being planted. The tree guards give your new trees the best chance of survival when faced with the harsh Aussie weather and many of our native forages. The seedlings can be blown down and uprooted in storms, damaged by hail or frost, or driven over by vehicles, mowed or eaten by hungry kangaroos, wallabies and rabbits. The tree guards make the seedlings super visible from a distance so that vehicles or mowers avoid them. They also increase the humidity around the tree, which is really great for this type of weather. The native mint bush is an attractive, small to medium dense shrub with small leaves that are highly aromatic and continuously release a mint essence into the atmosphere. Matt from the nursery said that it's also known as native oregano. A lavish display of violet, pink or white flowers all but hides the leaves throughout spring and summer, attracting butterflies and small insect-eating birds. The cup-shaped blooms are so prolific they almost cover the foliage. We planted it close by to hopefully enjoy its minty fragrance. It grows quickly, eventually reaching 2 metres tall and 2 metres wide. So Matt from the nursery said that this one is like a native or indigenous chamomile plant, but I haven't been able to find out a lot about it yet. Let us know if you recognise it in the comments below. Another issue that can be solved with using these tree guards is the damage caused by pets and pests that dig around the base of the seedlings. This can damage the new roots of the young trees, lowering their vitality or even killing the trees. You want to include the tree guard as soon as you plant your new tree, as it protects them from the minute they're in the ground. So we're just going to head off down the hill a little bit to have a look at our dog rose with its rose hips and our native olives. So these are our rose hips. They begin to form after successful pollination of flowers in spring or early summer, and they ripen in late summer through autumn. We spotted a grass snake right underneath the rosehip bush. The rosehip is a prickly perennial shrub that grows up to be about 3 metres high. These are our native olives. They were eaten by our indigenous people. The fully ripened berries are edible. The darker the berry, the sweeter it gets. You can pick the green berries and brine them to remove the bitterness, just like you do with the traditional olives. They look like mini blueberries, but most of them are just seed. There's not a lot of flesh. Matt from Gunimaa Nursery explained to us how to transplant lilies from one dam to another. These white lilies look very similar to the Mexican lily with the pale yellow flowers, which is an invasive weed that can destroy your dam. So you need to pull the lily out, getting all the bulb that's in the ground. This dam has gone down quite a lot over the last couple of months, so we didn't need to go into the water to get them. Looks like Paul has just pulled a big one out now. So now we're just heading up the hill to the other dam to take the bulbs of the lilies. Our property is still an active sheep run, and a local farmer here, Richard, keeps about 200 head of sheep here for wool. We originally thought this was a Chilean jasmine, but Matt from the nursery said that it's a fig. So we need to plant the bulbs in the ground under the water in the dam that doesn't have any lilies. This is said to improve the quality of the water in the dam. They need to be planted shallow so they can have access to light and so they can stay warm. Dams provide a habitat for wildlife, water for fire protection, and can also be used for recreation. Making our dam wildlife friendly will benefit the environment and our property. Clean water and natural habitats attract animals such as birds that help control crop damaging insects, and dams are homes for water birds, frogs and turtles. However, larger animals like our kangaroos and wallabies also come and drink the water. Encouraging biodiversity in and around your dam also helps maintain natural balances in the environment. Encouraging the wildlife provides beneficial ecosystem services to the property, including nutrient and waste recycling, as well as pest control and pollination. For example, the common backswimmer and the nymphs of the dragonflies and damselflies are aquatic animals that eat mosquito larvae. They also prey on mosquitoes and crop damaging insects such as aphids. These floating and submerged plants provide food, shelter and oxygen for mammals, birds, fish, frogs and invertebrates living in and around the dam. The partial surface cover that the lilies help provide reduce evaporation and keep the water cool. Some floating native plants need to be avoided because they can end up covering the entire water surface and block the sunlight, effectively dissolving all the oxygen levels in the water. Some aquatic plants such as alligator weed, water hyacinth and salvinia are declared noxious plants, and they pose a major threat to the Australian environment. You're supposed to contact your council and ask them for advice to help you identify any unfamiliar plants in your dam to make sure you're managing any of the negative impacts. The area around your dam is just as important. They say that you need to choose native plants that are local to the area to plant around the area, and not just one type. You need to try to include as many species as you can, and creating irregular edges around the dam provides a good habitat and a variety to attract birds. Placing rocks and boulders around the dam for reptiles and frogs for a resting spot is also a good idea. Adding some rocks to the shallow waters will also provide a good spot for native animals to hang out. Your dam can be damaged by uncontrolled stock access. They can pollute the water with their dung and urine, disturb the soil and damage the vegetation around the dam, causing erosion. So having well vegetated banks and preventing or limiting stock access through fencing is the best way to manage your dam environment. It's also good to have reeds and rushes around the dam inflows to help filter out sediments and nutrients before they get into the dam. The inflow is the area just before where the water enters the dam, and then the catchment zone is the area of land that captures the rainfall that flows into your dam. This area should be well vegetated with at least 80% ground cover and some tree cover. This will help stop soil, nutrients, animal droppings and other particles from reaching your dam during the rain. You should also replace any trees that are dying with new ones. Shelter belts are often planted as windbreaks to protect pasture and provide shade and protection for stock. If your dam is protected by strong winds, it also stops the evaporation occurring as much. There's a third dam just down there that we didn't even realise that we had, and we have a fourth one as you're coming into the property as well. This little dam's not doing too badly as well. You should check your dam wall area regularly for impacts from burrowing animals. Limiting direct stock access to the dam is important as well to keep the water clean and minimise erosion. You might need to fence the dam off if this is the case, and maybe pipe the water into troughs or tanks for the stock to drink, or just letting them have limited access by just having one entrance to the water where it's deeper where they can drink from. Time to get back to start building a fire and get ready for dinner before this storm comes.